What's going on, everybody?
Yo, what's up?
I want to thank you guys for tuning in to another episode of the Industry DJs podcast. I am your host, DJ T-Kid.
I am the co-host. I'll do it like this.
And again, I want to thank you guys for tuning in for another episode.
For sure.
Another episode of the Industry DJs podcast. We started off a little late.
Yeah. It's all my fault.
Exactly.
Of course, it's my fault. It's always my fault. Fuck it. Whatever. It is what it is, right?
Yeah.
Oh, my God. I got butterflies in my fucking stomach right now, bro. All right. So let me introduce my beautiful, loving, wonderful, amazing, should I keep going? Wife? I'm buttering her up right now. I'm buttering it up like fucking bread right now. This is Vanessa. This is my beautiful wife. And also GM and Players Pub and Grill over in Prospect Heights. And great place. So you're going to hear the best of both worlds from a wife's point of view as far as also from a manager's point of view for a bar restaurant. She's been around for many years doing this, and who better to have than her, as Alec is Alec Baldwin. Oh shit.
Yeah, we're gonna take your adapter out.
Why?
Because she needs to listen.
Okay, so what about me?
You'll be fine. What?
That's some racist ass shit, bro.
God, are you serious?
I asked her. She said she didn't want headphones. Give me 1 second, ladies and gentlemen. Give me 1 second, because obviously, undecisive ass mother.
You want to go ahead and grab one real quick?
Yeah.
Okay.
My mic's off.
All right.
No, my mic's down. Oh, there it goes. All right, cool. Ladies and gentlemen, I'll be right back. I think. Fuck. God.
All right. So while Al's gonna go get a adapter for Vanessa. Oh my God, Vanessa, I want to thank you for coming in. Don't be nervous.
A little nervous.
You'll be fine. We have a lot of people here on Facebook who are just gonna welcome you with open arms. No
Hey,
judgment.
wait for me! I can't fucking hear shit.
Really?
Al's
You'll be
crying.
fine. So, how you doing? How was your weekend?
It was good. Very busy.
All right.
Busy.
I know for a fact that Al mentioned that he wanted you on the show, and then you made some expressions that you wanted to be on the show as well. So I know, honestly, I've been in the DJ for a long time, and I never knew like how bartenders or bar owners like I don't know like the background, like the inner workings of like how like bars, like how like the bar managers work with bartenders, because us DJs, we just show up and DJ and walk in, walk out, and get paid and stuff like that. So I don't even know like how the inner workings of it. So
yeah, it's a little more in depth than that, a little bit.
So how long you been in the bar industry?
My entire life. So it's been almost 20 years.
Damn.
19 years.
Wow.
I have been managing for 14 years.
Okay. So what got you into the bar scene?
You know, one of my first jobs was serving, and then, you know, that kind of worked my way up to bartending, and then, you know, managing, and you just kind of move your way up where you go. And I realized that I was good at it, and I enjoy being around people, and I enjoy the job very much. So I've tried other things in between, and, you know, office work is not for me. I can't sit in a cubicle and stare at a computer.
Yeah, I work in the office during the day, so I know how it is. So,
Tibbs, you're funny.
Oh, we also real quick,
Tibbs.
yeah, I know. So real quick, we have a bunch of people in here. We got Tibble. He's just saying what's up. While Al's still trying to go get an adapter for you, I just wanted to say, it's been a minute since I've been at Players, and
Yes.
I know I have to be.
I know. Don't remind me, Alex. Don't remind me. I thought we had a deal here.
I know. I have to try and get myself back in there. I know. I know a lot of people have a lot of questions about the life of a DJ and the life of a wife of a DJ and how that works. Are you okay there?
No.
Oh, what? Calm down.
No.
Calm down.
No, because I lent that part to somebody else, and I never got it back. Son of a gun. Son of a bitch.
Oh, baby, if you like to hear yourself that much, I can live without an
No,
adapter.
it's okay. It's all right. Numero dos.
Hi, Adrian. Thank you. You're the best. I love working with you, too.
Full of shit.
Don't be jealous.
Oh, shit, they can hear me?
Yes, your mic's on.
I'm joking. They know.
Yes, he is this obnoxious at home every day when he's not on this podcast, too.
Oh my goodness.
Oh, shit. Hold on. I got you. I got you, babe. I got you, babe. Sorry. Can you hear?
Yeah.
Orale vato!
Yeah.
See, no way.
Can-
What's up, ladies and gentlemen?
Can we turn Al's
We
channel
back.
down a bit so I don't hear him
No,
so loud?
you cannot. Because we are on a split queue.
No, you can't.
No, you can't because we're split. I got a splitter. You just turned me down. Turn it up now.
I was just kidding.
Yeah, you damn right. She's just kidding. You just made me run down. What the fuck?
Oh, you'll be fine. You'll be fine.
Oh, let me catch my breath. All right. What's up, ladies and gentlemen? I'm back.
All right. So you were introducing the lovely Vanessa here.
Yes, sir. Yes, my beautiful wife. Of 11 years we've been together. As I said in the past, man, it's never been peaches and cream, and no relationship is ever peaches and cream. We as a couple that also work together also know how to separate that. So she's mad at me all the fucking time, but when we work together,
You exaggerate so much.
Yeah.
no,
he does.
she knows. Everybody here knows. But no, the reason why we can work together is because we know how to separate that. So that's a key thing when you're working with your significant other. That's for damn sure. So this is Vanessa. For those that don't know.
Yeah. She is the bar manager at Players in Prospect Heights. So if you're ever in the area, go ahead and check her out. She's gonna be here with us for this episode. We're gonna grill her and ask
Grill
a lot
her.
of questions. Yeah, well, not
Grill
really
her.
grill her.
Easy.
Grill
Yeah,
her.
we're not grilling her. We're just gonna ask
Back
her
to the grill again. The
My
grill
God.
again.
We're gonna ask her some what she's thinking about the bar industry, and yeah, that's about it.
Yeah. and what it's like to be married to a DJ.
Yeah, that's later on in the show.
Okay,
Yeah.
so we're gonna save the best for last. Good. Okay, awesome. So, all right, I put the Vaseline on a little too early then.
Envy's on the chat, and he said that Vanessa makes the best steaks. When Envy was here on the last episode,
Yeah.
or what was it? No, 2 episodes ago.
2 episodes.
And
Damn,
he was-
already? Oh yeah.
yes.
Holy shit, time's flying, bro.
Yeah, exactly. We're on episode. This is our 9th episode. So
Wow, man. Wow, we're working it, bro. Working. You
Yeah.
better work.
Yep.
Remember
Yeah.
we talked about that.
So I know everyone. I made a post on the group. I made a post on my Facebook chat. I was kidding with it, but a lot of people want to know how do you put up with Al. We're gonna answer that question later.
Wow,
on in the
man.
show.
Am I that, ladies and gentlemen? Am I that fucking bad? Am I that bad? Really? Wow, man.
You're not
Wow.
bad. You're just a lot.
We're gonna explain it in great detail.
Yeah, please,
In
because I
great
want to
detail.
fucking know.
So
Please, please.
How much detail can I go in?
You
Oh,
go
yeah.
into every. You know what? No holds barred, babe. I love you to death. What happens on the industry DJ stays in the industry DJs.
oh Lord.
So I'll take it on
Are
you
you
later
going to
on.
abide by those rules?
Oh fuck yeah, all day, all day. Let's make it happen.
See.
Let's make it happen.
Oh my
I'll
goodness.
follow up with you guys next week.
So how long you been at Players Pub?
I've been at Players for 8 years.
Okay.
Wow.
And where have you been before that? You really have to mention the place, but
I was at Park Tavern Rosemont for a while.
Oh, okay.
And then I managed a country club in Round Lake. And
Wow.
I operated a chain of pizza places. And
When I said she's been around
kinda
for
in
a while.
between jobs when I was younger,
yeah.
6 months, flip a different job here
Mhm.
and there. But
so if anyone wants to get into the bar industry, I'm kind of asking this question early, but if anyone wants to get into the bar industry, is now the good time to get into it?
It is. It is. I think it depends on who you work for, where you work. Obviously, you know, COVID happened, and that hurt bad, especially to a lot of places, depending on where you were. You know, it hurt us. We got lucky where our village and our township was pretty lenient with certain things, but we still had to follow a ton of guidelines. And, you know, people are scared. You know, some people are still scared to come out.
Stay the fuck home then.
Shut up.
Stay the fuck home then. Don't give a fuck. I'll say it. I said it. Say I said it.
But overall, I think that the people who could have cared less about COVID still come out. I think that we have more business than we did before. It's always a good industry to be in my opinion. I think that if you're not looking to ever move up in a company, people who are getting into bartending and serving should be careful because it's easy money and it's fun money. The atmosphere, again, depending on where you work, it's a fun atmosphere. It's still very professional, and there's still a lot of things behind closed doors that people don't realize happen or we do. But it is good money, especially if you're good at it. And I've seen a lot of people not continue with their lives and just kind of get stuck in the industry. And you also need to be a very level-headed person because the industry is the industry.
Yeah, because you deal with assholes all day.
Which is why she's very level-headed and then she deals with you all the time.
Bro, why? Why, bro? Why?
We'll get to
why,
that.
Bro?
We'll get to that later.
Why, bro?
We'll get to that later. So go ahead.
Fucking racist.
But it's easy to get caught up in the party lifestyle, you know, if you're not a strong, level-minded person. So, you know, I would just say to those people looking into it, you know, come in with that mindset. It is a job. It is not. It is a lifestyle, but you should not get consumed in the lifestyle. But overall, I love it. I wouldn't trade it for the world.
I was gonna say, so how do you not let it consume you? I guess.
I've never been a big drinker or a big partier to
Me
begin
too.
with. So being around it is more so I can be part of the party, but I'm working the party. So, you know, I'm still with everybody. I'm still seeing everybody. I'm still socializing, but I have a job to do at the same time.
Wait, stop. Hold on. Seeing who?
Oh my God. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Every penis that walks into the bar.
You motherfucker. I will fuck, bro. I'll burn every fucking bar down.
Slow down.
Dude, don't start your shit, lady. All right, go.
So, I used to know, well, I know some bartenders who been in the industry for like almost 2 decades. And even though they may not be at the same bar, but they're like still somewhere else because they say, you know, they make good money being in the industry. Yes. I mean, I have, again, you have to be good at it.
When you're bartending and serving is completely different.
Of course.
Bartending, you are the entertainment. You are the face of the place that you work at. You need to be good with people. You need to enjoy being around people. It is a job that is very much so leave your personal life at home when you come to work because it will affect your demeanor. It will affect
a lot of drama.
Right. It will affect all of that.
Define drama.
But, you know, I have people that walk in that are good at this job that work 35 hours a week that make $70,000 a year.
Damn.
So it's you know, it's easy money, and that's why people who are good at it stay doing it because it's fun money too.
Yeah. Yeah, totally. especially us DJs that we make a lot of money too.
Some of us.
Right. So
kid.
Okay, so I want to go back to March 2020 when the pandemic first started. I know that a lot of the service industry got hit hard because there wasn't, what's that thing called? The pandemic assistance that wasn't really available for like a lot of the industry folks. So how did you guys navigate that? We
have a small staff, so obviously we are a single standing operation. Our staff is never more than 40 people at our busiest time, and never anything less than 24. And we encouraged all of our employees to file for unemployment immediately, whether they had a shift or two a week of us trying to stay open. The first closure, we were completely closed, and we had 2 people that unfortunately couldn't file unemployment. Their paperwork just wasn't going through for whatever the reason. So myself and our executive chef at the time volunteered our weekly salaries to pay those people to make sure that they would not lose their house, and they have kids to take care of. And situations like that. But that was how we navigated it. Like anybody else, we didn't know what was happening. It was the first time,
Yeah,
at
of
least in
course.
my lifetime, we've ever seen the country do something like that. Hopefully we never see it again.
Yeah.
As a business, it was very hard to continue operating because we are not a carry-out, pickup, delivery, kind of operation. So trying to gain sales at all was hard. So, you had one person working the phones in the front and one person in the kitchen each shift. And I mean, I'm taking phone orders and I'm running deliveries and I'm taking pickups and I'm jumping in the kitchen if it's busy all at the same time.
Damn.
So there's times that I have the phone in my hand taking an order and I'm cooking on the fryer with the chef,
Wow.
just trying to make things work. But, you did what you had to do, and that was basically how we navigated it like anybody else. And, thank God for our regulars. Our regulars were a huge support to us. They would stop by on the weekends, to say hi and order food. And, our local village allowed us to sell liquor and beer for takeout. And so that helped. It was still hard because when we purchased those things, we purchased them at a higher price.
Damn.
So we still had to sell them at a much higher price than you would get from the grocery store. And again, thank God for our regulars understanding that we're just trying to make ends meet. And they would come in and they would buy a 6-pack of beer for $12 instead of $5 at the gas station.
Damn.
Just because, they were
I
here
know.
to support us.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Hey, real quick, man. A couple people jumped in, man. Miracle, what's up? Fast Eddie's in the building. Jose, Mexico. Mexico, que anda, vato? Peter, what up, what up, what up, man? Robert's in the building, too. What up, guys? Thank you guys for tuning in. If anybody doesn't know, this is my beautiful wife sitting right next to me, who we've been together for 11 years. She's also been in the bar restaurant industry for many, many, many years.
Pretty much her life.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. So let me tell you something, man. When we met, she told me what she did, and obviously she's a lot younger than me. Yes, I know. But when I met her, I was going through some tough times, man, and actually, we were friends first, obviously, and as I got to know her, man, she is just the most brightest bulb in the bunch, man. And I'm telling you, she stood out. And then, we needed help over at Park and at that time, and I told the boss, I was like, hey, man, give her a shot, and he brought her in, and bro, she moved up the fucking ranks in less than a month, man. They were like, why are you even here, man? You're way above your scale. And then they made her a key holder. I mean, she was a key holder and then a manager within a month. And working for that big of a corporate company at the time was just, that's unheard of. I mean, you know what I'm saying? You don't rank up that quick, man. So, and then obviously, things happened and, times changed, and she moved on to bigger and better things. And let me tell you something. I have never in my life met somebody that's such a go-getter, so smart, so beautiful and witty at the same time. And I'm not just saying that because she's my wife. I'm not. I'm buttering her up right now, so I take it in the ass a little bit later.
My God.
A little bit less from, I know the questions that are going to start flying. I don't even want to know what is going through some of these fucking people's heads. But yes, she's my best friend, and that's one thing that you got to have in a relationship in order to make it work, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Boy.
Remember what we talked about earlier, baby? Remember? I ain't sleeping in the garage this time. Fuck out of here.
The couch looks pretty good.
Wow.
Oh my goodness.
No, but for real, man. When I saw her do Park Tavern, I was like, wow, I was fucking amazed. And between her and the other manager, Lauren, at the time, they had Park Tavern at almost like a 5-star restaurant, man. Table touching, nothing but great. For 5 years that 5 years, right, babe? 5 years that she was there.
I was only there for 3.
3 years? I'm sorry. My bad. 3 years. It was almost a 5-star restaurant, man, and nothing but great reviews. So, she did it. She did her thing, and her and Lauren, and they worked as a team, and that's one thing that's about Vanessa that I love is that it's...
Big shout-outs to Lauren.
Yeah.
Lauren was a great person to work with. She taught me a lot more than I had known walking in there. And again, I had been managing for quite some time before I started working there. And, Lauren overall was the best GM that I had ever worked with in my life to this day, and one of the best teachers.
Nice.
Yeah, that's awesome. That helps. That definitely helps to have a crew that works with you and not against you. You know what I'm saying? You guys got to work, and that's what. Remember how I told you we have to work as a team. In anything that you do, when you work as a team, it just it builds. And again, that's why we're doing this podcast, so we can work as a team. You know what I'm saying? Get everybody together. Get everybody, from all walks of the bar industry or the restaurant industry. And let's start working together. Let's collaborate. Let's do this, man. You know what I'm saying? Let's put this shit out there. Yeah. Happen, bro. Make it happen.
So, so what do you do? I know you pretty much do everything at Players, but like, what do you? You pretty much do everything.
Yeah.
So you pretty much. How many people are there, like in terms of staff?
Right now I have 33.
Damn.
33 total.
Damn. And that place is huge because you also have the OTB on the other end.
Correct. Yeah, we are the only, I guess, bar, restaurant, sports bar that operates as a casino with a casino license in the entire, northern portion of the state. I'm not too sure about Rockford, but at least on this side. So, yeah, we have a sports book, we have an off-track betting, we have slot machines like every other bar, and then we also have the sports bar. Okay. So you pretty much, she pretty much do everything.
Yep.
She handles liquor, she orders alcohol, she orders, trains bartenders.
Yep.
Yeah.
Food orders, you got to make sure. Yeah, you got to, and then, dude, you also got to keep in mind that you have to order food in order to accommodate. You don't know.
I know.
You know what I'm saying? Oh, do we order 20 steaks or we order 40 steaks? You know what I'm saying? And then some of that food goes bad. You know what I mean? So they got to make sure that you're going to sell this shit.
Well, luckily in my history of Players, there was only, a few months in between chefs that I had to jump in and actually operate the kitchen and control that. But I had the pleasure of working with an amazing executive chef named Paul Anzeski. He was, a very good friend of mine, still to this day is, and one of the best people I've ever worked with. And now we have an awesome chef there, Tommy. He actually opened Players the first 2 years that Players was open, which was before my time, and he came back to work with me and kind of take it to the next level. So luckily they handle most of the kitchen operations. I help as needed, but mostly the kitchen is done by the executive chef. I handle everything else, payroll, hiring, firing, job posts.
Damn.
She had to put that firing in there.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Come on, you didn't tell him how many times I fired you and then rehired you.
Oh, here we fucking go. Here we fucking go.
Explain.
Oh, shit.
Explain.
No, don't explain. Don't explain. Well, you know what? I actually said it the first time. You know what I'm saying? I said it in one of our podcasts. To where I was trying to break up a fight, and unfortunately I got hit and I lost my shit, and she fired me. She fired me for I mean, it is what it is.
But was that the first? That was the first time.
That was the first time. Yeah, that was the first time I lost my shit, man. Because dude fucking hit me, man. You don't fucking hit me, bro. What the fuck? What the fuck is wrong with you?
But at the same time,
you have to be professional.
And I was very professional until you hit me.
Okay.
And then we got a problem.
Well, if you decide to break up a fight, you have to handle it professionally, and my insurance isn't covering you to punch somebody because you got pissed off because they punched you. Don't break up the fight. Let somebody else do it.
Exactly, and at the same time,
no. Let me rephrase that.
Go
That was the
ahead.
second. That was the second time you swung at me. That was the second time.
Okay, nonetheless, you were an employee of an
I wasn't an employee at the time.
Oh, yes, you were.
No, I wasn't.
Yes,
I was
you
off the
were.
clock.
It doesn't matter.
I love this argument.
I was off the clock.
Well, let me make it clear to anybody working in the industry, and I hold my staff to the standard very much. Whether you are on the clock or off the clock, you work for an establishment, and you are the face of that establishment. Everybody knows that you work there, and you need to maintain a certain reputation, whether you are on the clock or off the clock. So it's just that simple.
See?
That's why a lot of people don't drink at the job.
Stupid.
Because then they start forget it.
Anyways,
forget it. We went to talk about that.
Al got into a fight. Al got fired. He was rehired later.
I was gonna say that.
Like a week later.
Like 4 weeks later.
Oh, that was a week. That was a week.
That was the first time. So,
Oh shit! Here we go. The second time wasn't my fault either.
No. We're not gonna talk about that.
I don't give a fuck.
Like,
talk about it. Let's go. Let's talk about it. Nah, let's talk about it. You guys want to talk about it? Let's talk about it.
No, we're not. But like I told, no,
Okay.
but like who that said when he was here, he said that why would you get involved? Just
because
that's why you have. That's
again, I held players like it was my own. You understand? So if God forbid something happens. Again, and as I explained it to who that, but unfortunately, and I'm going to explain it again.
Go ahead.
Is the fact that God forbid if security couldn't get to, or if I could stop something before it escalates, you understand? Why not? Why not? I do that on the streets. I do that anywhere. It doesn't matter. If I could stop somebody from getting robbed or getting jumped or something and help somebody, why not? Why not? Why not? And that's the fucking problem with this world today is nobody wants to say nor do shit about it.
But
and I will. I don't give a fuck.
Okay, but at the same time, Vanessa mentioned a liability.
Okay,
so,
it's a liability. It's also a liability if fucking somebody gets fucking smacked in the face with the bottle because it got out of hand.
But
okay.
Those are customers, not employees.
Okay, well I never hit a customer. I never hit a customer.
That person that you got into a fight
he was
with
a piece of shit.
Okay,
Fuck him.
That person.
Fuck him.
I love it.
Okay, regardless of how you personally felt about that person, it doesn't matter. That person was not an employee. They were a patron of the bar.
He's a piece
you
of
were
shit.
an employee, and you needed to keep your cool, and you didn't do that. And
he needed his
fucked up.
fucking
And it's just that
shit
simple.
to
You
fucking
fucked
get
up.
knocked anyways. Fuck that dude.
I love it. I love it.
Bitch.
These y'all arguing, and it's mostly Al's the one that's starting the argument.
I'm not starting to argue. I'm just
so stupid.
What? How is it stupid? He's a bitch.
Okay, so
fuck him.
So
I don't give a fuck. If I see him on the streets again, I'll still hit him. I don't give a fuck.
Listen,
No, hell no.
Let her talk.
Next.
You're a DJ.
No, let her talk.
You're hired for an event by a huge corporation, and you want to nail this job. And
I'm gonna nail it.
And you can't make it to one of the nights that are going to be there because you have a wedding. So you send your right hand man. You send your next DJ.
Miracle.
And okay, so you send Miracle, and one of the customers comes up to Miracle and says, "Hey, I want to hear a song." And Miracle's like, "Hey, man, I can't play that song. Sorry." And the guy's like, "Well, fuck you, Miracle. You're a piece of shit." And Miracle's like, "Oh no, fuck you."
No, Miracle will
And then
probably
this
laugh at him
guy-
and walk away.
And then this guy pushes Miracle,
Oh.
and Miracle jumps off the DJ booth and beats his ass. Guess what? What are you going to do? Because
Nothing.
you are getting sued by that company because your employee hit a customer that was invited to that job.
Like I said, it's a
There is
liability.
difference of
Well, you know what?
operating with your
Wait.
person-
First of all,
not wait. There's a difference between
Because
operating with your
you just
personal
said, you just
emotions.
specified that he put his hands on Miracle first.
Yes.
Miracle defended
But
himself no
you're
matter
still-
what.
you are
It
still
doesn't
getting
matter.
sued, and you
No,
are
you
going
ain't
to
gonna
court.
get sued. You ain't
Whether
gonna win in
you-
court. I don't
okay,
give a
but it
fuck.
doesn't matter
You're not
if you-
gonna win. You're
it
not gonna
doesn't
win.
matter if
You're
you
not
win or
gonna win.
not.
Plain and simple.
It
You're not
doesn't
gonna win.
matter if you win or
He
not.
put
I don't
his
wanna go to
hands.
court.
Okay.
I'm not gonna hire a lawyer
It doesn't
and
matter.
pay lawyer
He
fees
put
because
his
you
hands on
fucked up
my
and
guy
hit somebody.
first.
That's so
And if there's
stupid.
cameras there, then fuck it. Whatever. It
doesn't
is what it
matter.
is.
It doesn't
It is
matter.
what it is.
Because
It is what it is.
Me, as the
It is
owner,
what it
operator,
is.
manager,
Okay.
I still have to hire a lawyer. I have to take time out of my day to go to court. I'm not getting paid for that shit. That's going to be additional to the 50 or 60 hours I have to work a week on your behalf because you fucked up and you hit
I
somebody.
didn't fuck up. The dude fucking put his hands on me.
Then you
Plain and
shouldn't have
simple.
broke up the fight.
Well, you know what?
And if you really
No.
want to get technical and we want to talk about why that fight started, it was because of your fucking friend at the time. So you decided that you wanted
No,
to
because
jump. Okay,
listen,
because
I
nothing.
broke up the fight. I jumped in the middle of it, so it would be broken up. He was a pussy too. He wasn't gonna do nothing.
Wow.
Fuck him too.
And mind you,
Fuck both of them.
let's
both of
talk
them.
about alcohol for a minute. If
Oh,
anybody,
I was sober at the time.
no, you weren't.
Yes, I was.
No, you weren't.
Yes, I was.
If anybody doesn't know, the very first thing that alcohol does to you, it impairs your judgment.
No
That is
way.
anybody in the entire world, it impairs your judgment. And Al was not sober that night by any means.
Fuck you, Tibble.
Because this was at a staff Christmas party.
I'm gonna kick his ass too.
Okay, so anyways,
Go ahead.
we disagree.
Go ahead.
Everybody knows we disagree.
Go ahead.
Yeah, well.
I like this, Vanessa. Go ahead.
No, go ahead. Go ahead. Jerry.
Oh my!
I love you, babe. I love you, babe. I love you. I love you.
I can punch you in your face and you're not
Listen.
going to hit me back.
Oh, wait a minute. There's been several times. There has been several fucking times where I should have knocked a lot of fucking people out.
But you
a lot of
handled it
people.
the right way.
But I
You
didn't.
handled it the
I didn't.
professional.
And there was the knife issue. There was that fucking two dudes, that Polish guys that fucking thought that they were all big and bad after they just saw Rocky or some shit and wanted to fight everybody. Fuck out of here, bro.
You want to go tally for how many times that I broke up fights, male and female? Okay, it doesn't matter. The point of the whole conversation was you were fired for a short period of time. Technically, it was more like a suspension because you were rehired in less than a month because you made a bad decision.
Okay, cool. I made a bad decision.
Okay, so end of story.
Okay, cool. Sounds good. I made a bad decision, ladies and gentlemen.
I was fired for a job once for making a bad decision. Shit happens. I wasn't
rehired. Out of here.
Yeah, shit.
It wasn't a bad decision on my end. It was a bad decision to have both of them as fucking acquaintances.
Yeah, and this is where the ego starts talking.
I don't give a fuck. Fuck them both. Fuck them both. Fuck them both. Fuck them both. I don't give a fuck about neither one of them. Suck a dick. Fuck them both.
So
eat a bowl of dicks.
So
fuck them both.
So Vanessa did mention something real quick. She did say like the first thing when you consume alcohol, it impairs your judgment. So how do you put up with that in the bar setting? Shut up. Because the reason why I ask, because obviously, you know, I used to bartend back. Oh shit! I used to bartend through college. So you know, there is times where I'd be serving people alcohol, and they be getting too damn drunk. Yes, I used to bartend through.
You served?
I used to bartend through college. This was years ago. Yes.
Wow.
So obviously, it's just the same. It's the same. Shut up. It's the same in the bar industry. Like,
come on.
Basically, my question is, when do you know it's time to cut someone off? Because a lot of obviously Al and I see this when we DJ at certain clubs. We see drunk people all the time. So
you got any of that Bad Bunny?
I think any establishment kind of has their own, you know, guidelines or things that they'll tolerate. You know, for us, it really just depends on the person. You know, if you have somebody who is just, you know, acting out of control or loud or stupid or bothering people or getting hostile with the staff, you know, then at that point, hey, dude, you're done. It's time to go. Or ma'am, or, you know, whoever that person is at the time. But it depends on a lot of different things and how the person's acting.
Yeah.
I've cut people off after one beer just because just because maybe they came in drunk or they were just a shitty person to begin with, or you know, maybe all of the above, or you know, maybe they decided to do, you know, drugs or, you know, whatever else before they had came in. But yeah, we've had people walk in where we didn't even serve them. You know, it's like at that point I could care less about the money or the income or the sales from these people. You know, I'm gonna worry about the business and my staff.
Exactly, because obviously, you know, Illinois got that dram shop law.
What?
The dram shop law. Dram shop law. So basically, what it is, you never heard of it?
Nope.
Okay, so basically, what it is, like, you know, the bar or restaurant or establishment could be held liable for anything that happened to that person.
Oh, like when they leave.
Which is right. Why we don't let people drink and drive. We will pay for Ubers. We will put people in an Uber. If I have somebody who is drunk, where at a nightclub they're kicking them out, you know, the bouncers are grabbing them and throwing them out the door because they've had too much to drink and they could care less what happens to them. You know, we are not in a central location. We don't do things like that, and then we care about the well-being of customers.
Of course.
Not just because of Dram Shop, but that's a big part of it, but because we actually care about the people. You know, it's like we chose to serve you. We chose to get you that intoxicated, and now it's our responsibility to make sure that you get somewhere safe. Right.
Because I could tell you back then, and I'm not sure if it's still the case now, but I could tell you, like, that's one thing that will shut down the bar, and you lose your liquor license and stuff like that. So I know.
Well, I mean, dude, there's been several times when I've taken people home. I mean, you know, at the end of the night, Vanessa, can you take this guy home? Just take him home. All right, cool, no problem. Oh, I mean, if we know the customer, we'll look out. We look out for everybody. It doesn't matter. There's people that we've never seen before. You don't walk in there and get shit faced and then turn around and my friends left me. Well, first of all, get new friends.
It's actually much easier to deal with your regulars than it is, you know, people that you don't know. You know? So at that point, true. I know how much they drink. I know where they live. I know how they're getting home. I know who's picking them up.
Yeah. Sometimes. Sometimes.
All right. So, damn, I had another question at the top. Okay, so before Al, when was the last time how long you worked at Players at the time?
Well, I was there pretty much same time.
8 years?
6.5 years, 7.
So about 7 years.
Yeah.
So obviously I only known you for like 2-3 years. So when did you guys decide to bring like entertainment, or you guys had entertainment at Players?
When I first started at Players, they didn't have consistent entertainment. They would, kind of book events and have bands or have a DJ, during this time or that time, but it was never anything consistent. And then about 7 months after I started managing, was when we decided that we were going to do DJs on the weekends. And then a year and a half after that, we had an awesome, person, Jared. Love you, Jared. He had came in and he had, a lot of really good ideas because he had been in the industry for a long time too. So we started karaoke and we started industry nights and, just kind of worked our way up from there and put the word out. And before you know it, we were busy all the time.
I never did fucking karaoke in my life until my wife came home one day and she goes, "Hey, have you ever done karaoke?" And I said, "No, and I don't want to." "Well, guess what? You're doing it and you have to." Fuck. Shout out to DJ Point for the karaoke music because literally, I go, "Okay, so when am I going to start? When am I going to start?" She goes, "You're an MC. You know how to do this shit. All you got to do is play music and fucking listen to a bunch of people sing." 2 minutes into the fucking thing, I was like, "Get me the fuck out of here, bro." Oh my God. Some of these. And then the whole thing, that was the funniest thing is, as we first started and we started pushing it, we got the older professional karaoke singers. How the fuck are you a professional karaoke singer? How is that even possible? There is no such thing.
Actually, there is. I know a couple of
professional karaoke singers. You're a professional. You're singing somebody else's song.
Yeah, I know, but I know.
How are you professional?
Well, like they do it for.
That's like a masturbator.
They do it
what the fuck?
They do it for a living.
Really?
Yeah, I know a couple of people. I know 2 people who are like karaoke professionals. They do it for a living. Like they would, like they were host like a karaoke at a venue or something like that, and they would just sing.
Those are called promoters.
No,
he's talking about people that
actually sing
karaoke songs for money.
Yeah.
So like you have an event and you hire somebody to sing a bunch of songs for you.
Oh, it's like a piano bar type shit.
Kind of. It's like
okay.
It's like
all right.
It's
Well,
like
that's not karaoke.
It's like but they're singing obviously.
That's a professional singer.
But they're singing. They're singing. Basically, it's like a cover band.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
It's
Let's
like
call them a cover band, not a professional karaoke singer.
Like
There's no such thing, bro.
It's like a 1-man show because I know people. I know 2 people.
They like to call themselves professional karaoke.
Okay, well they're not. So stop.
You call yourself a DJ.
Yeah, well, yeah, I'm a DJ. I'm a DJ. I don't go around and I'm a professional fucking karaoke singer.
God,
what kind of shit is that? Kind of fucking shit is seriously. Who agrees with that?
Who cares?
What do you do for a living? I'm a professional karaoke singer.
Oh my God.
Peter Ramos said that.
Fuck out of here.
Peter Ramos said Yoli's a karaoke singer.
Yeah, you're a fucking master baiter.
Oh my goodness. So I think I didn't ask this question, Vanessa. How long before you became the GM at Players?
Less than a year.
Damn.
Yes, I started in November of 2014, and I was the GM by the first week of May of 2015.
Damn.
Yes. Yeah,
I told you, man.
Clearly, so obviously,
I told you.
Damn, that's a long time. So, all right. So I guess I guess everyone wants to know later on throughout this show. Obviously, you two been working together for more than 5 years. I'm gonna say we're gonna do 5-6 years.
No more than that, bro.
We started working together a year after we got together, so probably about 9 years.
9 years.
Yeah, 9 years.
Okay. Oh yeah, because you did.
Yeah,
you worked at Park Tavern.
Yeah.
So I know Al and I discussed this earlier in previous episodes. Because it's hard for some people to, if they're in a relationship, that it's hard to work together. Mm-hmm. So how did you guys make it work? We're gonna ask Vanessa first because I already know your decision. I mean your answer, Al.
My decision.
I think that there's going to be a lot that goes into that. Obviously, I was very young when I started working together, so it was not as easy emotionally as it is now.
And I'm pretty sure Al was kind of like the old overbearing person that back then.
He's always been very much a lot
outspoken.
of a huge personality. We'll just be nice. We'll say huge personality.
Yeah, we're gonna keep it PG.
Once you fucking ego.
But I think when it comes to working with your significant other or a friend or a best friend for that matter, there's always that situation that you're going to end up in where you're going to be so proud of them for doing such a good job, and they work for you or work with you, and it just makes you look good and you guys look great as a team, and then you're going to come into those situations that you have arguments, whether they're
Roadblocks.
personal things that pop up in the industry, or he messed up as a DJ and didn't do what he was supposed to do, or not saying that happened, but just saying as an example. So dividing yourself from business and pleasure is a very difficult thing to do. And
we'll talk about the pleasure part later on. Go ahead.
But it's something that you have to do, and you have to learn that when you leave work at work.
Exactly.
And you can talk about it, you can discuss it, you can,
Pillow talk.
Right. But, work is work, and what happens at home happens at home.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Just like, yeah, exactly. Like she just said, man. And that goes for any employee. You know what I'm saying? We touched on that subject with Who Dat. Remember? I mean, you're having a bad day at work, and you come and you actually put that shit on the tables, man. And it really fucks everything up for everybody, especially in the entertainment industry that we're in. Like she said, you have to be, very customer friendly. I mean, you know what I'm saying? This guy might be having
you not
a bad
so
day.
much, but
me, bro. Listen. My customer skills, and you could ask anybody. My customer skills are bar none. You know what I'm saying? I do just like anybody. Alex, if I was to hit you or push you or do something, you'd get mad. You get mad and you'd fucking try to fight me. You protect yourself. That's anybody.
Are we back talking about this?
No. Oh, my fucking God.
Oh, my God. Next subject. We're talking about working with your wife or your girlfriend
but,
or your best
again,
friend.
and because we can get into an argument, 20 minutes before because, I fucked up or I forgot something or I forgot to turn off the iron or curling iron, whatever the fuck.
Petty stuff.
Stupid. I mean, yeah, but I mean, it could be, a matter of the house burning down, God forbid if something happens, but, you got to leave that, at the door. You got to walk in there, you got to smile and, you don't, and that's another thing. Do not bring your fucking problems and talk about your problems at work.
Yeah, she just said that.
No, she does, but I mean, she just said that, but you got to understand, half these fucking, there's some
Easier
employees.
said than done.
There's some employees.
Thank you.
Yeah, there's some employees that we've known that it's like, what the fuck did you just tell that customer? Are you serious, bro? Dude, that's personal information. I mean, why would you do that? And then it gets spread out through the bar, and you got to understand, working at a bar is like working at a fucking high school. Okay? You have your cliques, you have your cliques, you have your cool people, you have your dweebs, you have your, whatever, And it's just it's crazy, man. I mean, that's the best thing to fucking.
There's drama.
Drama.
There is, and there's drama when you work with your significant other, and
do we have drama?
Oh, we have for sure, 100% we have.
I mean, when I talk about drama, I mean like major shit.
No, we've had a couple major arguments stemming from nights that we worked together. Again, that's going to be probably part of the second part of. This podcast where you talk about, being with a DJ or dating the manager or being married or wherever the case may be. But, again, age is going to be a lot to do with that. I was 22 when we started working together. I'm 33 now. Damn. And, if you were to ask me how I would handle a certain situation then and now, it's going to be two completely different things. I was, much less mature at the time. You were much less mature at the time, and we've definitely had our rough times, but I would say we've had way more good times together working together than we have had bad.
Awesome. That's rewarding. Can I use that word? Rewarding?
No, it's not allowed.
Okay, cool.
Fast Eddie has a question for you.
Yeah, actually, a lot of questions, ladies and gentlemen.
We're gonna answer Peter Ramos towards the end, but Fast Eddie had a question. He said, "So after you're done working with Al, are you still in boss mode when you get home?"
That's none of your business.
I guess it depends on the day or the time or what happens. If you're talking about my career. In a whole, whether I worked with Al that night or not, I think that there's always, an hour or two or sometimes even 3 that I'm still mentally at work by the time I get home.
Yeah, of course.
But, when it comes to Al and us working together, there has been times where we have definitely brought work home, and I've been, either talk to him about how great the night was and what we need to do better next time, and we'll have those conversations, or how I think, he needed to not get so frustrated with the karaoke singers and not lose his cool.
I tell him that all the time.
He
calls me.
And do situations situations like that. So yes, sometimes I'm still in that kind of mindset. But Al does too. You know, there's plenty of times where he comes home as
yeah, that too.
right, as a DJ, and he's still in work mode, and you know, whether it was a good night or a bad night, and then, you know, here we are, we got more ideas, and working together, especially working at a place like Players, it was our own. You know, we basically did everything that we could, and we treat the place like if it is our own. So when we do come home, we are still working. You know, say, what are we going to do better next time? What can we do to make business better? What can we do to make the place more fun?
Obviously, yeah.
Yeah, of course, yeah. I mean, we collaborate. I mean, you know, and like I said in the beginning
Love
of the
you,
podcast. Yeah, Jerry, man. Hey, congratulations
Jerry
on the
worked with me
baby.
at Park Tavern, and she's still a very good friend of mine, and I love her to death.
She's awesome. She does hair, so anybody needs her hair done, hit her up. She's awesome.
So,
definitely, for sure.
So I know you mentioned this in previous episodes, Al. So what do you think? Like, how is it working with your significant other, with Vanessa next to you?
You know, like, you know, again.
And be honest.
No. And dude, we've talked about this on several occasions on different podcasts.
But
I have nothing to hide.
She's here next to you.
I have
now.
nothing to hide. I love working with her. I respect her as a boss. Again, when we're at work, I'm an employee, regardless. Just like she said, regardless of no matter what, we have to put that on the table. That, you know, she's fired me twice, bro.
I know. Mm-hmm. She
fired me twice. Mm-hmm. You know, so am I mad at her? No, I'm not mad at her.
But I'm pretty sure when it happened, you were.
You know what?
Yes, he was.
I was more mad at the fact that it happened, how it happened, and what the fuck, you know. But
he was mad at me, guys.
I wasn't mad at you, babe. Stop.
Yes, you were. You were.
I was
I told you to be honest.
I was mad at the situation.
And
you know,
we disagreed, just like we disagreed
you know.
10 minutes ago, and we were having the conversation that happened at home for probably 5 hours every single day for a week after that incident.
And he was still upset. I told you. I told you.
No, but you know, it's cool. It's cool. We actually, you know, we get to cruise home together. We talk, and you know, I get to see, you know, what happens on both sides of the spectrum. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
It's actually, I have no problems with working with my wife because she's my best friend. All said and done,
now
so I can do it.
Now, if she, well, I think you pretty much answered this question. If she tells you something, like if she gives you like constructive criticism right there on the spot,
brother, she does that all the time.
Listen to me. When she gives you constructive criticism right there on the spot while you're on the job, remember, you have to take even though she's your wife,
my boss.
But you have to understand that she's your boss at the same time. Do you actually take the criticism that the suggestion that she gives you?
Oh yeah, all day.
He does.
Yeah.
He does. I will give him that, like, he does. But it's not always as smooth as that. It doesn't always go as smooth as that.
Sometimes the way she's
stubborn, that's her problem.
Just like you said, stubborn. Alex. Just like you said, it's not the way the way people take what I say in different.
Here's a good example of a situation like that.
Oh shit.
We had karaoke one night. It was not our regulars there. You know, again, you're dealing with a bar that is all regulars, so it's easy to manage.
This seems to happen on karaoke nights.
Karaoke night, as a DJ, I'm not a DJ, and I don't work in that side of the business, but I can only imagine how hard it is, because as a manager, it's hard sometimes. And it's not my equipment, and it's not, you know, my brain that has to deal with it for 5 consecutive hours. But there was a night where we had a couple of people there that were not regulars, first time ever being at Players. So obviously you want to nail that as
the racist ones.
No.
The one that called me racist?
No, they're like my best friend.
No,
it's
now
Texas
they are.
And California,
yeah,
I love them.
Now they are. But at first they sing this song, bro, and
okay,
they
but
absolutely.
that's not what we're talking about right now. So you can wait and tell that story.
That was fucked up. They call me a racist.
You know, as a person being there for the first time, as a manager, my goal is to make sure that they have the best time singing karaoke, so they tell all of their friends, and then they bring all their friends back
and come back.
Yeah. Right, we build business.
Well,
they were just, you know, over the top obnoxious. Al was not in a good mood that night at all.
Wait, which night was this?
Karaoke.
This was a few years ago.
Okay.
And you know, he was not having it. And you know, at one point he actually said, "I'm doing my fucking job. Leave me alone." And as a manager, I wanted to send him home. I literally wanted to be like, pack your shit up and leave.
See, you can't say that, Al.
What?
You can't say something like that.
I'll say whatever the fuck I want to say to whoever the fuck I want to say.
And this is the
That's it, plain and simple. If I don't like something, I'm not going to deal with it.
Okay,
I'm not.
But here's the thing, Al. Wife aside,
right?
If she listen to me, wife aside, if she was your boss, you didn't know her, you're not in a relationship with her, you said
handle it differently.
No, I wouldn't have.
No,
I wouldn't have. Bullshit. Fuck out of here. Fuck out of here. You guys don't know me very well.
Okay, so if you didn't handle it differently, if you said the exact same shit that you just said to her, Tom, I'm doing my fucking job, I'm pretty sure if she wasn't your wife, she was just a random person, she would have sent your ass home.
Okay, then send me home. Bye. Next. Send me home.
She would have sent your ass. She would have
sent
me
home.
Ass home.
I don't give a fuck.
And then you probably wouldn't have.
If it got to a point where I'll explain, and then if they still come at me with a fucking attitude, then fucking send me home. I don't give a fuck.
And then you probably wouldn't have a job.
Oh well,
back.
next.
Go ahead, Vanessa.
You live in Chicago. There's a lot of jobs out here, bro.
When it comes to the corrective criticism, we had went outside shortly after that happened because obviously these customers are new, so they don't know. Everybody at Players knows that Al is my fiance or my husband or whatever, and these people did not know that. So then they immediately asked to speak to the manager. I have to apologize. Customer's always right, whether they're wrong or right. The customer's always right.
Yeah, of course.
And so then I have to apologize to them. Hey, I'll talk to the DJ. I'm really sorry. He acted like that. I'll figure out what's going on. So then we go outside and we talk about it, and it's the same attitude. Well, hey, if they're really bothering you, say, give me a couple minutes or go get the manager. You can let her know what you want to do, and then the manager can approach me if you were that upset at the customer.
I remember those fucking idiots. I remember those. Oh, my God.
At that point, that corrective criticism from a manager to a DJ, not a wife to a husband, did not go over that well because we were husband and wife, not because we were manager to DJ. It's, well, fuck that, fuck them. I'm not dealing with that shit. Fucking send me home, blah, blah, because he's mad. And he would have, I know him, and as much as he tries to say that he wouldn't have handled that differently working for somebody else, I know he would have, because he is a very professional person. He is a very respectful person.
Thank you.
And he never would have looked at the owner or general manager of another establishment that he did not know, or maybe not have worked with that long, and spoke to them the way that he did me.
No,
so
you
would not have said
because you were already aggravated and you came up to me, and I remember that night exactly, and it was just a perfect storm. It was just a perfect storm. But those people were out of line, and the way they were talking to me and the way they were treating me, and I was being very, very, very cordial with them and very, very, very respectable until they fucking stepped on my dick. And after they did that, that's when I snapped.
I think that night your patience was a little bit short to begin with.
My patience are always short.
No, that
just
night,
like Peter just said, grumpy ass Al.
Yeah, because you're a grumpy old man.
You came to work in a bad mood that day, and I know that because I know you personally. Another
well,
GM or owner would not have known that.
It's fine.
So
it's fine. We all have our days. Yeah, we have our bad days, but I try as much as I possibly can to leave that at the door. I try.
You do, and
I try.
And for the most part, you do a very good job.
I try.
But I mean, he asked a question about, do you take corrective criticism well? And I think that, majority of the time you do, but there has definitely been times where you don't. And there is definitely a borderline of the way that you handle situations when you were working with me, because we have that personal relationship, versus how you would handle it working for somebody else.
I think that's hard.
That is hard, because that night I was really mad at him even when we came home.
Oh, Lord.
So that was hard.
That was, again,
that has to be hard.
It's a catch-22, bro. I mean, it's on both sides, but unfortunately, it is what it is. I mean, all couples fight no matter what, if you work together, if you don't work together. I mean,
Peter, that is why he calls himself Al. Do it like this.
Yes, 110%. Do it like this.
Yes.
That's how I got my name. You're doing it all wrong. You have to do it like this.
All right.
You're doing it wrong. Do it like this.
So speaking of Al, do it like this. So Vanessa, when you met Al for the first time over a decade ago.
Oh, wow. Should we even tell the story how we met?
Sure, we met at a funeral.
Sure. No, and I'm not a fucking basher. I'm not some funeral basher that goes like. I'm not the wedding crashers.
We'll talk about that in a minute. Let Alex.
No. That was my question. Like, how did you guys meet? And then, then what did you think of? Where, like, at that point when you met Al, where was he at that point in his life?
Go ahead, babe. Go ahead. Go ahead. This is your interview.
Al
not mine.
knew my family my whole life. So Al was a very close friend to one of my cousins who was murdered back in 1996.
Wow.
And it was just, the way of fate, I guess, that we never ran into each other. We have pictures of being at the same family parties, but at two completely different times.
Damn.
And when my cousin's father passed away in 2011. In 2011, we were both at the funeral, and I met Al because I was still working. I was managing the country club at the time, and I had to leave work, and took a work phone call, needed to get away from the crowd because, this is a very busy funeral. I have a very big family, and I'm walking up and down the bike lane in Chicago, and Al is screaming at me that I'm fucking stupid and I'm going to get hit by a car.
I didn't say, wow.
And I'm going to
Wow.
get I'm going to get hit by a car because I'm talking on my phone walking in the street. And that was how Al and I met. Those were the first words. Al yelled at me. The first thing he ever
yelled
said
at
to me,
everybody.
he yelled at me.
He yells at everybody. Aw.
I'm just fucking. I'm
That's
just
how
here
we
to
met.
fucking get bashed today.
So we're at
I'm the fucking pinata. Go ahead. Stupid. Wow.
At that point, Al, you was at that point where you're like trying to like figure out, like, where were you?
You know what? I actually, again, because her family is my family, and her cousin was one of my best friends growing up. Rest in peace, Cardell. Love you, man. Miss you guys dearly. And RC was his father, and when he passed away, and I was going through a very difficult time in my life at that point.
Yeah.
I was going through a divorce. And it was not the best. And then I went outside and I was talking to a couple of my brothers, and I saw her in the funeral, or the wake. I'm sorry. And again, it wasn't your normal wake because RC was such a bright guy. He always partied. He had fun, stuff like that. So it wasn't. It was sad and sorrowful per se, but it wasn't like your normal funeral where people were crying, but whatever. But it was more like a get together. So at that point in time, I walked outside to have a cigarette, and I had my daughter Alexis with me.
I love her.
And
She should have been mine.
yeah. Well, anyway, she was with me, and I walked outside, and I was having a cigarette, and it was hot as hell that day. Remember? And she just got out of work, and she was walking in the bike lane like fucking Duck Hunter. You know what I'm saying? When you used to shoot the guns at Duck Hunter, she just kept pacing back and forth.
That
So I know,
Nintendo game.
and I try to. She looked pissed off, so I try to, ease up and break the ice with her. Because she caught my attention. And I turned around and I said, "Hey, that's a good way you're gonna get hit by a car. Maybe if you get off, stop talking to your boyfriend and get off the street.
Oh,
stop yelling at
wow.
your boyfriend or something like that, and get off the street." And then she turned around. She gave me this look, and at that point in time, I just turned around and kept talking to the guys. I was like, "Whoa, I think I just pissed this girl off, but fucking whatever. It is what it is." So I walked back in, and then Lord and behold, somebody else, I guess, in the family was just like, "Who's that?" And yeah, I caught
And they
wind.
all knew who I was.
Yeah, well, no. I asked, well, before that, before we went to the other, because my cousin Jocelyn was there, because she's RC's niece, and it's just weird how this whole family circle works, but she's actually my physical cousin, and I was like, dude, that girl, what's that girl's name? She was like, who, Vanessa? Little V? I was like, Little V? Yeah, she's gorgeous, man. She's hot as hell. She was like, really? She's like, ew, that's like my cousin. I mean, they grew up together, so when you tell a sister or cousin, damn, she's hot, whatever. She was like, oh well. And then me and Vanessa we hit it off, and then I was outside because rest in peace, Grandma Nan, and Grandma Nan. We were outside in a group and we were talking. About motorcycles because Grandma. I used to take Grandma on the. Oh my God, that was a classic because she's way older, biker, older chick, and she used to be on the back of my crotch rocket, and people would just give us the weirdest fucking looks because she'd always want to ride. So whatever, they'd be like, "Look at this cougar with this young Hispanic boy," whatever. Well, anyways, me and Grandma were outside talking. We're smoking cigarettes, and then here, Lord and behold, here comes Vanessa. And Vanessa was just like, we were talking, and she was like, oh, you got a bike? I want to know how to ride a bike. And I gave her my number, and it just hit it off from there, man. And fucking 11 years later, still in love with her.
Here we are.
So
Yep.
so at the time, Vanessa, did you know that Al was DJing?
I think he told me that night that he was a DJ.
Okay.
Yeah.
I guess I could have cared less that he was a DJ. You know,
Okay.
I was never that girl I was never a big partier again. I never followed
Yeah,
DJs.
like-
I was never that kind of
Yeah,
groupie.
you don't.
And,
You say you rarely drink.
right. So it was, oh, okay, cool. He's a DJ. You know, it wasn't anything, special to me that I was, dating or talking to, end quote, DJ.
Mm-hmm. So, well, obviously, then I guess you pretty much answered Peter. Was it Peter Ramos's question? Because he said that has jealousy ever occurred to you when
Yes,
you was out
absolutely.
Really?
When we
Really?
worked together, yeah, absolutely.
when you
Really?
first started? When you
Wow.
first dating?
Yeah,
Interesting.
and again, that's
Because
gonna come
you
with
didn't
age.
show it.
That's going to come with age. That's going to come with, of course, I didn't show it. I was working. I have to.
She's a
maintain
workaholic.
A certain professionalism, and those you can't bring your personal emotions into work. But absolutely, and that goes to big shout out to any girlfriends or wives of DJs, because it is not it's not easy all the time. It's a
It
very
sure isn't.
it's a touchy subject, and I guess you have to be a very strong-minded woman to deal with a situation like that, because a DJ is an entertainer. DJs love attention. Al, you love attention, and that's not a bad thing. That's what you do for a living. But being a woman, especially when jealousy comes in, it's a hard pill to swallow. And when you are like, there's an example where probably the only time that I ever was so pissed off that I had to walk away.
Damn.
So this
story
is,
time.
Yeah, this is story time. So
Ooh,
I
gotta hear this.
We're at Park Tavern. It's Halloween,
Oh,
and there is this girl that is just all over Al in the DJ booth.
Damn.
Every chance she gets, she is up in the DJ booth.
I don't remember.
Now he's not.
yeah. I'm sure you won't remember.
I bet you he won't either. Mhm. Now he's not. He's being friendly with her, obviously, enjoying the attention to a point that he's not doing anything wrong. He's not, crossing a border where I feel like he was
That's
being
racist,
disrespectful
crossing a
to
border.
me. Shut up. Where he was disrespecting me as his girlfriend. But there's this girl who's constantly all over him, and she is, half naked in her little, whatever Halloween costume.
She probably got a nurse out. She probably got a nurse outfit on.
I don't remember. I'm sorry.
And I mean, like arm around him every chance she got, like whispering in his ear. And
Damn.
this is nonstop. And then at one point, she had even went up there and kissed him on the cheek.
Now stop. Now you know that she remembers this perfectly if she remembers this detail.
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember.
You may not remember, but
I
I'm
don't
pretty
remember.
sure if she's
Yeah.
giving us details of how this happened, she had to be the
And I
Go
was
ahead.
so mad because I'm young. I'm young, so jealousy is obviously skyrocketing at that point, and because Al is doing nothing to tell this girl to get away from him. He had a security guard at the DJ
Wow.
booth. When there are people bothering him, all he had to do was tell security, "Hey, get him out of here," or "Hey, this chick is drunk. Like, tell her to get out of the DJ booth." But there was none of that going on.
So she wasn't drunk at all. So that excuse is out the door.
Right.
She wasn't drunk.
And so yes, jealousy definitely comes in play. But you have to know how to handle it. And then you do have to understand at what point a DJ is doing his job as an entertainer and entertaining the crowd, and then when he's crossing the line and doing something wrong. So there is that. But I guess it would go the same way as, I bartended for a very long time when Al and I were together, and look, you're a bartender. You are flirting with people. You are smiling at them.
because you do that to get them tips.
Right. You're playing the card. You're an entertainer. You have a bunch of men sitting at a bar. The last thing that they want to hear is, you constantly reminding them that you're taken. So obviously you're not playing into the card of pretending like you're single by any means, but you're also not really touching base on the fact that you're not single. You're just enjoying the atmosphere.
It's
You're
none of their
making them
business. Fuck them.
Really?
What? Yeah, the bartenders? No, the people at the bar is none of their business. Flirt all you want. You give a fuck. She's coming home with me.
That's funny.
That's funny.
Coming home with me.
That's funny.
Hey, real quick.
That's funny.
Real quick. Jay, what's up, bro? Peter, Fuck you, Peter. All right, Yoli. Hey, Yoli, we got couples in here right now. Hema's in the building. Sketch, what up, bro? Tibble. Tibble's been here. Fucking. All right. I love you, Tibbs.
Fast Eddie said that. Fast Eddie said you remember that incident that happened at Park Tavern.
Eddie, when you get to my age, Fast Eddie, when you get to my age, you won't remember shit.
But I'm pretty. But like I said, the fact that Vanessa remembers that whole thing in great detail.
Remember, she's a lot younger than her.
But still,
a lot younger.
But still, she remember that.
I was pissed.
So then, real quick, how did you handle that situation though?
Oh, I definitely fucking bitched Al out the entire time that we got home. Probably.
I don't remember.
Oh, I'm sure he
right.
doesn't.
Yeah, sure you don't remember.
Look at that. He doesn't remember. Look at that. Look at that.
I have no idea what she speaks of, sir.
Right.
No hablas el ingleso.
Right.
And you know there are a handful of situations that happened. Really, there are. And after a certain point, you are in a relationship when you realize that you don't need to not trust that person. If you are dating a DJ or married to a DJ or getting ready to be serious with a DJ, you do need to understand that is their job. Their job is to entertain people. There are women out there that flock to be cool with the DJ, that want to hang out with the DJ.
And I don't understand that, but go ahead, I'm listening.
There's a couple pictures you posted yesterday with the DJ, or the girls were all fucking all over in your pictures and videos, dude. I'll talk about that yet.
Go ahead.
But if you Al has never given me a reason to not trust him. So after a certain point of us working together and me getting older and just realizing that it's like, you know what, that chick is up in the DJ booth flirting with him, I'll go right ahead. You know, he even gets mad because there's been times where like there has been women at players that have been all over him, and I am literally in the back with the servers, and I am laughing my ass off.
Oh my god!
I'm like, look at him.
Oh my god, babe!
Because you know what? No, the reason why she does that and she's laughing because you always get irritated so easily.
You know what? I did. I was absolutely.
So
there was this girl that dude. Literally, we're closed, and everybody, ladies and gentlemen, everybody, if you do not work here, you have to leave. This girl would not leave the DJ booth. I did not know because they just built a wall over there, so I did not know Vanessa was in the back. And this girl, and she's just sitting there talking, and I'm disconnecting equipment,
she's
ignoring
like in circles in front of him, flipping her hair, batting her eyelashes,
and I'm ignoring her, literally. And I hear a snicker in the background, and I said, "Oh shit, my wife's back there." And I peek over, and she turns around, and finally we got rid of this fucking girl.
She was laughing,
and then turned around, and all I heard was, "Oh, Al! Oh,
that's
Al!"
how she was talking.
Dude, I was like, "Oh my god!" Oh my god, it was fucking hilarious. So then, for like a week straight, I heard, "Oh, Al!" I felt like fucking, Peg Bundy was in the fucking room. "Oh, Al!"
Oh my god,
I was like, "Shut the fuck up!"
Real quick, Mark Carbone's in here. What's up, Mike? Mike.
You said Mark Carbone. You said Mark Carbone. Hey, Mike Cabron. It's Mike Cabron. Cabron.
Hi, Mike.
Fuck Mike.
So obviously, throughout this whole time, you guys been together for a long time now.
Yes.
It's at that point where you pretty much trust Al in what he's doing in these gigs that he's doing, whether he's working out late at. Let me finish. Whether he's working late at night, coming home, or he's just working all damn day because he has some gigs and stuff like that. Same thing with Vanessa. I mean, she's working all damn day.
And I think that to those women that are with DJs, I am fortunate enough to be in the same industry. So
exactly.
I understand the hours, I understand the job very much, but I think that when you're not, it is a very hard, a hard thing to juggle in your personal life. It's like you wonder. As an example, there were even nights, a long time ago in our relationship where I know that the club closed at 2 and it's 5 o'clock in the morning and he's still not coming home yet, and he's not answering my phone calls.
Damn.
And, there's situations like that.
Flashbacks.
And you always wonder, and then to those women that work 9 to 5, banker hours Monday through Friday, and their boyfriend or their husband is out DJing the clubs. They know that there's women there. They know that there is always that temptation there, and I'm sure that there's always that thought. So you really you have to be a very strong-willed, strong-minded person to deal with those situations, and you need to trust the person that you're with, and
know that we love you. We love you. Just because we're in the entertainment industry doesn't mean.
That doesn't mean that every DJ is like you. That doesn't mean that.
Yeah, that's
Absolutely.
true, Al. We
Absolutely.
do know. We do. Unfortunately,
you know,
we do know some. We're not going to
Yeah.
name names, but obviously we do.
Yeah. No,
there are
don't.
some DJs who are like that, and they don't understand. I guess because there isn't any communications in the relationship.
And we've talked about that. I mean, Alex, you know, it's like, dude, you know, if I wanted that single life, I lived the perfect life to live that single life. You know what I'm saying? But I don't want these. I mean, yeah, granted, there's beautiful women all over the place, no matter where you go. But nobody has this beauty. You understand? Nobody's won over my heart like she's done.
Aww.
And she is my best
So
friend
you were looking?
first.
So you were looking? I'm just kidding. I love you.
Oh my God! It's so
How
frustrating.
does it feel to have somebody in here just like you do to Alex? Baby. Al's mad at me, guys.
Oh, he's always mad. He's always mad. Ain't nothing new.
This is your show, not mine. Fuck out of here. I'm done. I quit.
Stupid. You're an idiot.
No, for real, man. I mean, you know,
Just,
again,
but Vanessa,
she's my best friend. I mean, throughout anything. I
and
mean, I
she's-
could talk to her about anything. And I've talked, dude. There's times. Remember that note that you got? Remember that note that
Oh
whatever?
my God, yeah.
She got a note from some guy who was fucking drunk and asking her to take her home and all types of shit. Literally, yeah. I mean, bro,
Yes.
people got fucking balls, bro.
Damn.
They got balls. And it was funny because she showed it to me. Yeah, I got jealous. And, you know, I was busting her chops for a little while. I'm like, oh, shit. Just like, I mean, but you have to have that open relationship, ladies and gentlemen. You have to have that common, you know.
open
dude,
communication. Don't
Yeah,
say
correct.
Don't
And
say open.
number one, you
relationship,
have to
'cause-
have fucking trust.
And I mean,
if you
like, this
don't
was like
have
a
trust,
childish note. Like, do you want to come home with me? Like,
Ooh.
circle
Yeah.
yes or no. Do you want to have a
box,
three-way?
yes,
You know,
ooh.
yes, no, maybe.
Yeah,
like,
it's like,
right.
damn.
And I'm like looking like, how old are
dude,
you that
fucking
wrote
people
this?
go to jail for shit like
Right.
that, bro. Are
Damn.
you serious, bro? Yeah, bro. I mean, well, who knows what kind of drugs or whatever the fuck they were on? You know what I'm saying?
Just know that Vanessa's not the type that's gonna pop up on you at the club. Just know that.
No, you know what? She did a couple times.
Oh, for real?
She did. Yeah, when we first started dating, when we first started dating, I was working at a place over in Oak Lawn. Shouts out to George's, and I worked out there for a while. And yeah, she there was one time I found a note on my car, and then I found the rose.
Damn.
She got me a rose, and she left it on my car.
Oh.
And just thinking about you, and I was just like, wow, she drove all the way out here. You know,
That's love.
but yeah, it was love, man, and that's and again, I was going through a lot of shit at the time. It wasn't the best of my.
I know you.
I was going through a divorce,
Yeah, you're
and I
telling me.
was, I was going through a really, really bad, dark time in my life. And she Care Beared the shit out of me, man, and brought me back to life, man. And I mean, you know what? And that's
There
where
were a lot
I
of hard
stopped.
times in
There
there,
was,
too.
yeah, trust me, man. I was like, and it was a lot of it was on me because I was so fucked up in the head that I brought a lot of fucking my issues out on her. You understand?
I think we
And
talked-
she
we
stuck-
talked about
Yeah,
that
we did. We
in
talked about it, and I
episode
have
2.
no reason to lie to anybody because this is a part of life, and that's why we're here to talk about it, ladies and gentlemen. This is a part of our lives, our careers, and I mean, again, if you guys have any questions, feel free to message either me or my wife. I mean, you know, we're here to talk and help you guys do this. I mean, we're not marriage counselors, but I mean, we did a lot. We went through a lot, and we're still together. And that just goes to show how strong a bond can be as long as you have that open communication. Does that make sense?
Yeah, makes sense.
You know,
like I said,
and trust.
like
Trust is everything, bro.
Like I said, I told you I've been in past relationships, and I preference beforehand. I was like, hey, I'm a DJ. Is this something you can handle? And at first they'd be like, yeah, sure, no problem. But then obviously it's not the case.
Yeah, exactly.
And I think that people who have never dated a DJ would really understand what you mean by, hey, can you handle that? You know, because that maybe they don't realize everything that comes along with it. You know,
Yeah.
there are a lot of late nights. There
Exactly.
is a lot of temptation, and you know, and shout out to the DJs out there that don't cheat on their girlfriends or their wives because it's the truth, because there is more temptation in that industry than there is any other industry. You know, you have men that go to work at office jobs and they see the same 25 women every single day, where, you know, you have a DJ that goes to a club and they see 25 new women every hour. And these women, you know, or
They all
vice
have
versa,
fucking issues.
men, you know, they are these people
Like you don't.
No, because they're there drinking. I'm there working.
Well, they're in an. Well, that's not true too. You know, we can touch base on that as a manager to DJs is the drinking. Just because you don't drink now doesn't mean that you never drank while you were DJing.
All right, so how about them Cubs?
I don't drink. I don't. Drink
I love
when
you too.
I
How
don't-
about
I don't-
Stacy? Stacy's in here, babe. Stacy. Stacy. Hi, Stacy.
Hi, Stace.
Hi, Stacy.
I don't drink when I'm DJing.
Stacy's mom's got it going on.
Stupid.
It's inside joke. Sorry, Stacy.
Real quick.
Love you, Emma.
Real quick. If anyone has any comments or any questions for us, just
Definitely, for sure.
drop it in the comments real quick. But no, I don't drink when I'm DJing, and I know there's a lot of, so loud. And
we talked about that already,
I know,
bro.
but
Stop lying.
I don't.
Not all the time.
I don't. Majority of the time, I don't drink when I'm DJing.
All right, maybe 98%.
More like that.
Okay.
And but you know there are
But
some.
when Alex does drink, he drinks.
Oh please. But there are some DJs that do drink, and obviously they don't really care about their significant other. And I think it's like that when, like for instance, like if a bar manager knows that knows like their personal life, like they know that they have a wife or a girlfriend at home and you're out here drinking and flirting with other people and stuff like that. I think.
Well, you know what?
I think
Again,
that becomes a
that could be
problem.
misconstrued. Again, because we have to talk to women. We have, women are in the bar seen all the time, just like Vanessa said.
Mm-hmm.
And there's been several times when I've been approached by girls that won't leave me the fuck alone. It's like, dude, seriously. And she's been there. She's been there to where I don't know that she's behind me or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And I've told her, hey, I'm working. I apologize. I'd love to sit here and talk to you, but I'm working right now. You know what I'm saying? So, and they kind of get that, okay, he doesn't want to be bothered. Yeah, I don't want to be bothered. You know what I'm saying?
Some of these girls are aggressive, especially these new generations.
Aggressive. Be aggressive.
Especially these new generations.
Oh my
Yeah.
God.
Yeah, tell me about it.
You got that, Bad Bunny?
Oh
hey,
my
what's your
God.
name, Bad Bunny? Hey, Bad Bunny.
Hema said that you have to be in the industry to understand the industry, which is why I guess that's why you two
not
work.
really. Not really.
Well, look at you two. You guys obviously both of you guys understand the industry,
Brother.
so it works.
Brother, I've known people to date in the industry that they were better fuck buddies than boyfriend and girlfriend.
I think
to be honest with you,
obviously you two are different because both of you guys are mature.
for sure.
Vanessa mature more than you.
Yeah, well, and I said that, and that's what and that's what attracted me to her because of her age. At that time, I'm not gonna lie to you, bro. I fucking hated women. I fucking hated women.
Hema's
bro.
proud of you.
Yeah. Well, Hema's been in my life for a long time. She saw a lot of shit that I went through. I mean, she was always been there. She's always saw exactly what I went through in life.
Mm-hmm.
And it taught me. She actually let me rephrase that. Vanessa taught me how to love again because I'm gonna be honest with you. I fucking hated people.
And how did she teach you how to love? Maybe you should give
because
some. Wait, hold on.
She didn't let go. She
maybe
taught
give
me
some
that
advice real
there's
quick.
real people out there that there's real people that do care about you, and do
Yes.
not and don't bring your fucking dirty laundry to, the new relationship, because of what happened to me in the past.
Mhm.
Really fucked me up, man. I'm not gonna lie to you. It really really messed me up. It
Mhm.
really messed me up, and she took a lot of the brunt of it. She did. And you know what? And I owe her my life because she stood by my side, no matter what.
I love you.
She did. She was there for me.
That's and that's all you need. You need a good support system.
And I can't
You said
stress
that.
that enough, man. Dude, she's been there. She nursed me back to health as many hangovers and as drunk nights as I had. And she didn't yell at me and. Well, she did yell at me, but I mean, there's plenty of times. I mean,
yelled about
yeah,
is
drinking and driving.
That
Oh
is
no,
it.
there
I
was a
don't
couple
care
other
how
things.
shit-faced you get, do
There was a
not
couple
get
other
behind the wheel of your car.
other things, right? But again,
So that's why you stopped drinking.
No, I stopped drinking for other reasons, man. I mean, it's not me anymore, man. I guess you get to a certain point in your life to where it's like, fuck it, whatever. Some people start early, some people stop late. You know what I'm saying? And I stopped late. I stopped at 45. I'm 45 years old, and I had somebody gave me a Corona this Saturday at the event that I was at. I babysat that bitch for 7 hours. 7 fucking hours, bro. Bro, I forgot it was even in the booth. And what did I do? I had my water and Red Bull that I had in a bag that I always bring with me. It's like my fucking survival kit. But whatever. I mean, at the end of the day, I mean, again, before foremost anything, you have to be friends first. You have to be friends first so you can talk to each other.
And I think that's what started with you guys. You guys actually, obviously, that's what happened.
Yeah, we were definitely friends. We talked a lot. You know, it's funny because I guess a couple of her friends and relatives thought I was hot and I don't know, whatever. And that she told me about that. That was crazy. That was crazy. She started laughing. We should, whatever. That's a different story that we're not going to get into. But I mean, that was the only time I ever saw jealousy out of her. She was like, "Fucking, what the fuck did you say?"
But you know, she grew up from that.
She did. She's always been a very mature woman, and that's what attracted her the most.
Like I said, she matures faster than you. So
all women, a lot of women do. You know, and there's that diamond in the rough, man. And you know what? And like I said, God puts everybody in people's life for a reason. And I would have never have said anything to a total stranger like that, but something told me to do it. And lo and behold, and I mean, you know, like I said, you know, 11 years later, man, going on 12, I asked her to marry me. She said yes, and this is the, you know, this is I have everything that I've ever wanted. I have everything right now that I've ever wanted, and that's a family, a wife, and just one-on-one. You know, I grew up with both of my parents, like I said in the last one, and that's all I want in life is to have that.
Peter Ramos says you need a hug.
No, Peter, you okay?
Need a hug.
I'm good, man. I'm good. I'm good. I'm actually, you know, I have no barriers to what I need to talk about or would like to talk about. I'm an open book. Everybody that knows me can ask me any question, and I won't lie to you, and I'm not going to tell you a fucking lie. I'll tell you exactly how I feel. And, you know, there's been several DJs ever since this podcast, and I told you that I was like, I haven't talked to ever. You know, and they'll inbox me, and they'll be like, hey, I got a question for you. How would you handle this? How would you handle that? You know? Right? Which is, I'm going to give you the best possible scenario or the best possible advice I can do. And if there's been many times when people stump me, and I talk to my wife. And that's what I do, you know. I could talk to my wife about anything, and she'll sit down and she'll listen. And, you know, I think she's listening, but sometimes I don't know. So, you know, or those long nights when she's been working all day, and you know, and she just wants to go home, and I give her alone time. That's everybody needs their alone time. You know, that's one thing you have to give your significant other as well.
All right, so I have a couple of more questions before we get out of here.
What's for dinner?
Yeah, who's cooking dinner tonight?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I feel like chicken tonight.
Oh my goodness. So so Vanessa, before we get out of here, I have a question for you. What advice do you give to anyone? I mean, you pretty much said it, but like, just to sum it up, like, what advice do you give to these women who are dating a DJ in the industry?
Patience.
Understand what you're getting yourself into before. If you are an insecure woman by nature, and if you are a jealous person by nature, I highly recommend that you do not get yourself involved in the life of a DJ.
And this goes for DJs as well. If you meet a girl and she's fucking jealous, bounce. See ya later.
Right,
goodbye.
Because they will not be able to handle it,
No.
or they are going to be at the club with you every single night that you work, standing in the DJ booth. You know,
and they can also be the death of you.
And you know, to those women that can handle those situations, always remember to think logically before you act with emotion. There are always going to be those situations where, as women, we are jealous naturally. We are emotional 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. We are. I'll be the first one to admit it. You know, but there's days where you need to be understanding, and you need to understand the job, and you need to understand what DJs are doing when they are at work, and understand that it is an entertainment job. They are entertainers. They are constantly going to have attention from women, whether they are asking for it or not asking for it. And remember that they're coming home to you at night. You know, now when you're in that situation where he's not coming home to you tonight, then I'm going to say, you know, you need to leave him anyways. You know, then you're stupid for staying in a situation like that. But, you know, for my situation, it's not like that. It's, you have to understand that the job is the job, and, you know, jealousy is always good, but it's good to a point. And then at a certain point, then you need to just understand that it's not because they're out asking for all these women to talk to them. It's just because that's the job, and the late hours come with it, and the long days come with it, and, you know, it's just what it's about.
And this is not only for DJs, ladies and gentlemen. This is also for bouncers. This is also for bartenders.
Bartenders,
I mean,
servers.
You know, I know a male bartender that, I mean, literally, his girl came to the bar one day. Why the fuck you talking to that bitch?
Oh, wow.
To order a drink? What the fuck is wrong with you? When psychoness comes out like that, ladies and gentlemen, that's the fucking breaking point. That's where you turn around and you say, later, Felicia. Because, unfortunately, again, and I brought this up, there's been times when, you know, people are dating within the industry, you understand, at the same venue, or at the same bar, and unfortunately, you know, again, alcohol fucking flows, and people start pointing fingers, and, oh, well, he's always, and you're always covering. I never covered for this nigga ever, bro. So I'll get the fuck out of my face. And again, she got fired for that. I mean, it can cost you your job, ladies and gentlemen. So if this is something you want to do, make sure that your significant other is with you 100%, not 50%, not 20%. It's got to be 100, and you guys have to have an open relationship. And when I say open relationship, that's not sleeping around. That is talking to each other. That is having that
open
mutual
communication.
Agreement. Exactly. You have to be a friend before you be a lover, and if you can't have that, this is never going to work.
Okay,
it's never going to work.
All right, and then my other one for you, Vanessa, what advice do you give to anyone in the industry right now? To all the bartenders, servers, bar owners, restaurant owners, like, what advice do you give to them, especially during, I mean, like, stuff like the bars opening up. Like, I mean, bars open right now because of the pandemic, but you know, there are still.
I would say, you know, to those that are successful, you know, keep doing it. The people may not understand the bar industry too well, but you know, there is, when people work normal jobs, so to say, like non-industry jobs, everybody's always looking for an escape, something to do, somewhere to go, somewhere to kill some time, and that's where we come in. That's where our jobs come in. And, you know, keep doing what you do. You know, big shout out to every bar and restaurant that is thriving right now. You know, keep it up. I wish everybody the best. I hope that we don't ever have to go through another pandemic, because that was very difficult. Yeah. You know, there's I don't know, bartenders and servers, keep doing what you're doing, you know, and be good at it. And remember that, you know, you touch so many lives without even realizing it. You know, you have those people that come and sit at the bar that are lonely, and, you know, that one conversation might change their mood, or, you know, that one kid that you made laugh sitting at the table with their parents. You know, people remember that.
Exactly.
And that's why they go out. And, you know, never be afraid to be yourself, because that's what the industry is also about. And
to an extent.
You never know. No, well,
to be yourself to an extent, because there's some fucking weirdo ass people out there, bro, and you don't want them to fucking put that fucking lambs or Silence of the Lambs shit on the table.
The point is what she's trying to say.
No, I know, I got it. Okay. I know. I'm fucking busting her balls. Okay. Calm down.
Always.
Calm down. Always. See, again, open relationship, ladies and gentlemen. Hey, wait a minute. Hold on. Wait. Fast Eddie, what the fuck? What do you mean? Didn't reveal till later? Laughing my ass off. What did he mean by that?
So, no, but what she's trying to say is that you just have to be, you know,
somebody's writing in Arabic.
You just have to bring your bring your A game and make the first impression. Make your first impression a lasting one. Just be what she's trying to say.
First impressions are everything.
You never get a second chance to make a first impression.
Absolutely, and exactly, and that's how I tell everybody. I mean, you know, Everything. Everything is on the table, especially when it's a bit. Just because it's a bar, it doesn't mean it's not a business. You understand, and you have to respect that.
So, my last question: when's the wedding plans?
You know what? Right now, obviously, we're trying to just knock down the bills and stuff like that, so we can actually have because. Bro, let me tell you something. Literally, we were talking about it. There's probably gonna be at least 500-600 people at this wedding.
Damn.
Yes, dude. Literally, there's exactly. So we're trying to set it up to where, and and with the pandemic and everything, and us coming back, and we will definitely, trust me, ladies and gentlemen, you guys. This is going to be the party of all parties because this is the last and final time I'll ever get married. Okay, and that's another thing.
I hope it's your first and last.
I'm
sorry. I hope it's your final time getting married.
Brother, let me tell you,
Christ.
I've known people to be married, fucking whatever. It doesn't matter.
Go ahead, Al.
I mean, it's we want to make this right. We don't want to rush it. You know what I'm saying? And we're pretty practically married already. We share everything together. I mean, what to stand in front of somebody and say I do and wear a ring. I mean, that's all we're missing. I know. Because she's my road dog till I die.
Oh, although it's not official yet, but yeah, obviously. All right. Any last words, Vanessa? Any last words at all? Anything that's on the top of your mind that you want to let us know as DJs or as an industry worker, anything before we get out of here? Look at that.
That's a hard one. That's all right. I mean, I could probably have a million more things to say, but DJs, keep doing what you do. Always remember that your GM or your manager might not understand what you're doing at the time when you're at work, as well as you probably don't understand what the GM is dealing with. So when they're getting on you guys about the kind of music you play or what you're doing or situations like that, they might not understand that you're reading the crowd. They might be under orders of somebody else. I've seen situations like that play out where DJs get very upset because the boss isn't letting them do their job because they're trying to regulate what they play and things like that. Those DJs that do drink when you're working, limit yourself to how much you drink, because I can't tell you how many DJs I have had that have been shit-face wasted by midnight when they start at 9:30 or 10 o'clock, and at that point you think you sound great and you think you're playing to the crowd, but you're really not. You're playing to yourself and what you think sounds good. To all those girlfriends and wives of DJs, big shout out to you. It's a hard job. It's a very hard job, and keep it up and love them for who they are and understand that their job is their job. And all those husbands and DJs, be nice to your girl, be nice to your wife, be nice to your girlfriend. Understand when she gets jealous, it's because she loves you. When she questions you, it's not because she doesn't trust you, it's because she's curious. And just always try to think about the other person and what they're dealing with at the time, and try to be more understanding with each other. I think that's what's gotten me and Al this far.
You hear that, Al? Take that advice.
No. I'm just. This is my wife, not anybody else's. Anybody's in her inbox, I will fucking kill you right now.
Take that advice, because I felt
this is my wife. No, we're not cloning her. Kinkles is closed. Go fuck yourself. Stay out of the box.
I felt that.
You're goddamn right. I'll fucking. Boy,
take that advice.
Boy.
Take that advice.
You will be buried.
Vanessa, I want to thank you for coming onto the show.
Thank you for having me.
I really, really appreciate it. You actually, I'm not gonna lie, you actually did. I actually took in some information from what you're telling me, because, like I said in the beginning of the show, like I never heard from a GM perspective, because all I do, I just walk in, DJ, and get paid, walk out. I barely talk to the GM throughout the end of the night.
She's the one that got me into the whole numbers thing.
Yeah.
Remember I told you?
Yeah,
remember I told you? It was her fault. Because now I know the background of the whole restaurant industry, and it's mind fucking blowing of what I've learned just from her.
And I think what I honestly, what I learned from talking to you, Vanessa, I feel like I should not listen, but I think I should talk to the GM, because I'm always on the go. Like I'm always walking in like 30 minutes before my set up. and stuff like that. Like I never sat down with the GM and be like, "Hey, what's up? What's going on?"
Right.
Yeah, or what kind of party do you have?
Exactly.
You guys
I
have, reservations of 25 people. What
Yeah,
kind of people are they?
I never done that, and I feel like I should do that now because I like I said, I'm always on
It's
the go.
always good.
I'm
It's
always
all-
If
going
you have
from.
any advice to DJs, just on a side note,
Go ahead,
I
go
think all of you guys need to learn how to play a little bit more country music. Just a little
Wait
bit.
the fuck?
Just a
What?
little bit.
What? I did a whole country mix, and you turned around. You were like, "Damn, babe, for real? I didn't even know you
would
had
have
all
never-
that country."
You would have never
But
played
there's
a
not-
country song if it wasn't for me.
But there.
Get the fuck out of here, huh? Okay, okay.
But there isn't. But she's right. But there isn't a lot of country music DJs. I only know about 3.
Right.
I only know about 3. There isn't a lot of country music DJs. I only know about 3. So, but no. What Vanessa did say, she did really let me listen, and I actually did hear from her because obviously she's a bar owner. So I actually do have to. I feel like I should make the time now to actually show up to my venues early and be like, hey, what's going on? Any birthday parties? Anything I should be like expecting or anything like that. So I actually did learn something from this.
Hit some goals,
Exactly.
And I can tell you that
help the business grow.
Right, and as a GM and somebody who's on a budget to pay your entertainment, on those nights that we have killed it, I have definitely thrown extra money to my
DJ.
entertainment. Hey, you guys did a really good job. Thanks for doing
See?
that. And you guys you have goals to hit.
What did I tell you?
As crazy as it sounds, a DJ that's getting paid, $300 or $350 or $400 thinks that, oh, well, it's not that much money. This bar is packed. They're making money. But the bar industry is the hardest industry to make money.
See?
An owner is doing a very good job if they take home 5 cents on a dollar.
See?
Literally just 5 cents. And so to pay a DJ $400,
It's a
we
lot.
have to do $1,200 in sales just to break even from paying them $400.
I know some of this information, but I didn't really take it in because you also have to think about like she's paying these DJs $300-$500, but like you said, she has to make a lot of money
In order to
make
compensate,
that.
correct.
And then not only that, she has to pay for liquor cost and
Security,
Insurance.
and budget
right.
and budget.
Who that came up with that too?
labor cost and all that stuff.
Yeah,
So,
I mean, there's a lot. There's a lot of background that you're not just because we're the fucking main entertainment doesn't mean that fucking DJ Pandora and DJ Spotify can do half the job that half these guys are doing now. So
Yeah.
fucking that's another thing we got into a fight because of that too as well. I mean, because some DJ went over there and didn't do his job.
Oh wow!
Which
Yes,
that's for a whole nother fucking
another story.
podcast.
That's another story.
Yes,
It's a whole nother story, man.
So,
Unfortunately, it is what it is.
So Vanessa, again, thank you for coming
Yes, thank you, baby. Thank you. We
I
love you, man.
really-
You
Thank you for having me.
in. I really
as much
appreciate-
as I've already known about you, I mean, you spread so much light to a lot of people out there, man, and really showed a lot of both sides of the spectrum. So we appreciate it. Thank you very much.
So, again, thank you guys for tuning in to the Industry DJs podcast. If you haven't, like us on our Facebook page at the Industry DJs. Like us on Instagram at the Industry DJs. Follow us, myself and Al, at DJ T Kid on Instagram. I'll do it like this on Instagram. Check out Vanessa. She is at Players Pub and Grill in
Pretty
Prospect
much
Heights.
fucking 90 hours a week. So you'll bond us here.
She's
you might
there.
see their dust or the ghostling of her because she does everything. So she's
Yeah.
everywhere.
So she's everywhere.
Yeah, definitely.
She's there almost every single day, so you can't miss her. Let her know you saw her on the podcast. And
Yes, my wife is awesome, and it is my wife. Mine.
And they say that women are jealous. You hear that?
My
exactly.
wife.
Right, exactly.
No, I'm fucking around. Or am I?
But again, thank you guys for tuning in, and we will see you guys next week.
Thank you guys. We love you. Peace.